Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Puzlogic for the PC. So far, I've thoroughly enjoyed what I've experienced thus far. I have cleared through the first 10 or so puzzles. I have been able to get a grasp of not only what the game is trying to provide, but what the influence, the Sudoku influence that is associated with this game. One of the biggest things about the overall gameplay is that it's very simplistic in nature. All you're doing is trying to look at a puzzle, move the numbers around via your mouse, and figure out what you've done wrong if you've gotten it wrong. One of the best things about the game, to me, is the ability to turn off hints. Because if you get something wrong with the hints actually on, the number will turn red once it's in the wrong box. And for me personally, after turning off the hints, which is also connected to the scoring of the game, you can get up to 2 stars per puzzle completed if you turn off the hints and you don't make any mistakes. If you make a mistake, you lose a star. If you have the hints on, you lose a star. So you could finish a puzzle and not get a score at all in the grand scheme of things. And then you would have to redo it, which is very simple. Just hit quit, back out, and you'll be right back at the main menu. Select the puzzle that you want to redo and get that high score that you want. There are 64 puzzles thus far. So it will more than likely take you a good amount of time to finish this. If you are new, like yours truly, to the style of puzzle, and even just the fact that it gets even more difficult as the game progresses, as the levels get higher. One of the best things about it to me is the very ambient and soothing music that is associated with each puzzle. I think it's a great contrast to maybe how your emotions are getting in the opposite direction as you try to figure out what in the world you're doing wrong, especially if you've turned off the hints. Because to me, that's the best way to play the game, is without the hints on. There are some issues, very minor though, and to a certain extent, it might be just me being nitpicky. But one issue I have is the fact that when you're trying to remove the numbers from the board, if you put them in the specific block, you have to pull them all the way down into the pretty much starting zone. If it was kind of like one of those things where it just automatically did it a little bit faster for you, it would be a little bit more intuitive, I believe. But that's kind of a minor nitpick. That's just a personal thing. The other thing that was kind of odd is the timer. There's a timer in the left-hand corner that seemingly has no real effect on the overall game. And another thing is the fact that there is no visible area to look at your completed times. Say if you completed a puzzle in 2.5 minutes, you really wouldn't know it unless you wrote it down. Because when you look at the menu screen, there is a score, but there's no space for the time, and it just makes, to me, the time irrelevant. And it's something that, I guess unless you wrote it down, it really doesn't matter, just to beat a personal high score or something. But once again, minor nitpicks. I didn't have any crashing, I didn't have any slowdown, I didn't have anything that would make me say that this game is technically flawed, which makes it an even easier experience. To me, this is the type of game that would be perfect for a party. It's the type of game that if you can get about 4 or 5 friends around, get a tablet, and pass it around anytime you make a mistake to see if somebody else can figure it out, I think this is the type of game that would be just so fun to experience with a group of people. It's the type of game that I think a lot of people will get a kick out of. And to top it off, it's only $3 on Steam. The full version is only $3. So it's not only a great party game, but it's a cheap party game. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, with another video game first impressions. Puzlogic for the PC, featuring Mac and Linux support. I forgot to mention that. Definitely a plus. Now, if you don't mind, I have to get my pen and paper together because I'm not taking the SOLs, the SATs, a college prep course, or even some trigonometry. I'm just trying to sit down in front of my computer and figure out, why are these numbers laughing at me? Or maybe I just haven't got enough sleep, because my mind is continuously shouting, "Oh lordy!"